Yes.
Pros and cons of living in Greenland. Greenland is a case of different strokes for different folks. It takes a special person, or even superhuman, if you agree, to live there. If it's ever true that hell is the hottest place, Greenland is cold enough in the winter to neutralize the hotness of hell, with little to no sun. But it has a lot of employment opportunities to earn you a living. If you're just visiting to catch some fun, Greenland will be a worthwhile experience. To some, however, Greenland is the last place they want to live. In this video, we will be discussing the pros and cons of living in Greenland. At the end of the video, please let's hear what you think about the video. Pros of living in Greenland. 1. Close-knit community nature. We're starting on this note bordering on the community life. In Greenland, everyone knows each other. In Nuuk, the biggest city in the country, either all Greenlanders, as the citizens of Greenland are called, or Danes, and people with other nationalities, live peacefully together in one big community. It's unlike other countries where the society is divided into groups. There's that familial love among everyone in Greenland. They can enjoy the beautiful nature together as one indivisible family. They so much cherish their cultural roots and their ability to enjoy outdoor activities like kayaking, dog sledding, and ice fishing. All these are made possible by a slower pace of life in this area, and the side attraction is that it leads to less stress and more personal time to be spent on family, friends, and communities. 2. Outdoor activities. Still, on outdoor activities, the sense of peace and comfort in this country makes outdoor activities quite tempting. You will love nature here, which is able to remove the stress. You're free to see icebergs floating by, the sun rising on the horizon, and many other beauties of nature. As you enjoy these activities, you can see how insignificant we human beings are compared to what is in the celestial bodies and the large nature. As you enjoy yourself outside, you'll get a chance to see how powerful nature is. So the benefits you get from its being a close-knit community are also there in its outdoor activities. But there's more. 3. Free education. The next one among the pros of living in Greenland is its social welfare and equality. To achieve such equity, education takes a prominent place. As it usually is worldwide, not everyone can afford quality education. Unless it is free in a society, equity in education can never be achieved. However, one of the benefits of living in Greenland is that the country offers free education to everyone. Even this free education knows no bounds. It extends to graduate and postgraduate degrees. There are other free things in Greenland. Healthcare is also free, and it offers various specialized treatment options, all of which are excellent. 4. Cultural richness. If you were told to define Greenland, how would you go about it? Well, many would say Greenland is a beautiful large island with beautiful people and a rich culture. No matter who gives you the definition of this country, the emphasis will always be on its cultural richness. It's truly rich in culture. The small country, which can also be described as a large island, is not lacking in painting, tattoos, and dancing. These, together with jewelry made out of bones, form the art and culture that are important in indigenous Greenlandic culture. Actually, the lifestyles in Greenland and Iceland are unique tapestries woven with rich cultural threads, despite their climate and geographic isolation, which are shaped by the rugged and firm embrace of the North Atlantic. 5. It's a cool place to live. Finally, the last of the pros of living in Greenland is that it is a cool place to live. The climate here is classified as Arctic. It has long, cold winters accompanying short, cool summers. Greenlandic coastlines are ice-free for most times of the year, except only a few months. Temperatures often remain below freezing. Besides, everyone in the country is so hospitable, and they're always keen to help. Whether you need directions on where to eat or advice on something, they're always there to guide and support you. It's one of the coolest places to enjoy hiking through the mountains or kayaking along the coastline. Surely, Greenland is an incredibly beautiful place and cool place. Now let's talk about the cons of living in Greenland. Cons of living in Greenland. 1. Most foods are imported. The first con of living in Greenland is about food. Well, this is not to say that anyone here could be accused of being a foodie, as if anything is wrong with that. The indigenous diet among Inuit Greenlanders menu is naturally restricted to what can be harvested from the sea. Their land can't grow so much food because of the ice envelope. As such, there's little in the country in the way of vegetables. You have access to just tubers and grasses that struggle to grow on the uncovered land. Residents therefore have fewer options. Because they're limited in choices, food costs much more here than they do in the US. If you need to eat the same thing you eat in the US here, you will not want to try to go to their grocery stores because most of these foods are imported. 2. Boredom. The next of the cons of living in Greenland is boredom. It can't be denied that Greenland is an isolated land. The basic isolation is apparent even in the many beautiful photos of the country. The blandness and lack of life in those pics evoke the feeling of boredom, even long before you visit or move to Greenland. It is all too easy to get bored by seeing the same sights day in and day out, and the scenery you were initially fascinated by will become boring. It's then you realize how isolated the country is from the outside world. Well, let's tell you more about this in the next point. 3. Not a lot of people to interact with. The country is so boring even for those who have been there all their lives. But it is most apparently shocking to those thinking about moving to Greenland. Most of the population are native Inuit. For one thing, you must learn the language to be able to communicate effectively, though Danish is also widely spoken. But beyond this language barrier, you need to think about what it means to live in a sparsely populated country such as Greenland. It is going to be too quiet. You won't have a lot of people to interact with. You may not hear enough of the sound of humans. While it might initially seem quite relaxing, you will pretty soon find out that you have nowhere to go most of your days. Don't forget that, besides being sparsely populated, the weather still determines the pace of life on the island. As soon as people sense the wind, they communicate about it. They know that if the wind becomes strong, small boats cannot sail, and the means to visit one another is mostly by boat. 4. It's expensive. Greenland is moderately priced when you view it as a destination to visit. With most other countries, it's average for travel costs, especially when talking about accommodation. But one of the cons of living in this country is that the food prices are a bit on the high side. This is understandable in view of the fact that, as mentioned earlier, most of the food consumed in this country is imported. And what do you expect about the cost of imported foods? Therefore, if you were told that Greenland is expensive, there's nowhere else to look to than the prices of food, though transportation is not cheap. 5. Limited job opportunities. Employment opportunities are somewhat limited in this country, and that's the last of the cons of living in Denmark to be mentioned in this video. You cannot expect to find so much work in this country because there is no capital to build countries here. The only factor available for production here is seafood. This cannot provide enough jobs for residents of this place. What have you considered to be either the pros or cons of living in Greenland? Please, let's continue this discussion in the comments section. Let us advance this engaging discussion. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.